Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Get the Skinny on Beachbody Weekly Coaching Weekly Chat. And if it is Get the Skinny on Beachbody Coaching Weekly Chat, it must be Tuesday. And indeed it is. We have lots to talk about tonight, kind of a grab bag, and we're going to get to it in just a second, but just want to introduce everyone. If you haven't been on the show before, this evening we have the beautiful and vivacious Hannah, Blissful Gratitude Lyons, the equally vivacious Tom Metal Palace Birkenmeyer,
descriptive journalism,
Shelley Kraft, mom, super mom, who's multitasking, making birthday cakes, wrapping presents, and being on the broadcast. Whoop, whoop.
Got to get it all done.
Yes. And Amethyst Smith.
Oh, shit.
And her, is that your cat behind you? Did you just say the S word?
Yeah, sorry. I lost you again. I keep.
Okay, and we have Amethyst Expletive Smith on the show as well. All right. So we were going to wrap up our conversation this evening about Ray Higdon's health and wellness blueprint. The last part of the training was very, very short, but there was some good information in there. And hopefully we all reviewed it so we can at least touch on it. We're also going to touch on this week's National Wake Up Call. The topic was organization out of chaos, or organizing chaos, or something like that. And then also talk about Super Saturday, which just went by this last weekend, or Super Sunday in Shelley's case. And some exciting things that came out of that. So where would you like to begin? Anybody jump in anywhere?
Let's start with capping off the Ray Higdon stuff.
Okay, sounds good. Cap away.
All right, here's my cap on it, because we talked about the meat of it last week. But
right.
All the examples that he gave, it's like you can apply to anything. I remember he did a video once, I don't know, a year or so ago, where he did like 19 different niches, and he applied the same formula to all of those niches, and some of them were in health and wellness. And basically what he showed us in his training is conceptually the same thing, but he just used health and wellness examples.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool, because, even though he says, and I think I saw that training about applying it to 19 different niches or whatever, yeah. It's really hard sometimes for people to wrap their brain around it unless, the trainer gives specific examples that are specific to your niche.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that is, but it is the case. So I really appreciate that he drilled down and did one where he just related everything specifically to health and wellness, which I think he did. And I think he did a very good job. Since we talked about him last, has anybody had any success applying any of his tips or suggestions?
Yeah, I can generate leads all day long from sharing content the way that he describes, for sure. Hannah?
Okay. Well, another thing too, because when I first started out becoming a coach, I'm not going to lie, I was terrified to go live, you all. I was scared to death. I was like, oh, okay, people are watching. What am I going to say? What am I going to do? But now, just being me, now I actually record myself working out and just being me, just being silly me. And people identify with it. People totally respond to me being me. And that's why I appreciate, out of the third session within his training, in the common questions about, what if you're scared to do video? He identifies this particular, common question. And I got so much value out of that. I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything in particular he said pertaining to that question that was particularly helpful?
He said, instead of trying to impress them, get them to relate to you. And it's just like, yeah, duh. Don't be trying to be superstar or anything like that. Just be vulnerable.
Yeah, he's a big proponent of, and a lot of people say this in a lot of different ways, but Ray, I think, says this better than anyone, and, kind of brings it down to earth is, so what if you're not ready? Just do it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes and be goofy and not be perfect. I mean, he talked about that friend of his who's like 5 foot, what is he, like 5'3", and he's not very attractive, and he's
got a lisp.
Got a hair lip.
Yeah.
Hair lip. But he said he's probably, in his book, he's probably like the top network marketer of all time, So you got to get out there and not be afraid, and just make mistakes and be messy. And that's the beauty of live video. So anyway, awesome. Anybody else have anything else? There's Lisa.
Hey, Lisa. I like you was talking about how you don't have to be a supermodel to talk about fitness.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, how you just, and it's kind of like where Autumn in the 80-day obsession workouts was talking about, you start where you stand and you finish what you start. It's kind of the same thing. Like,
right.
Nobody, and I tell my coaches this all the time, nobody would read a book that said once upon a time, the end. It's the story that people relate to. So don't say, well, I can't talk about fitness because I still have 30 pounds to lose. Thank God you have something for people to relate to, that they can follow you on your journey and concentrate on,
Right. I mean, he talked about, who's the, the
Oprah.
He talked about Oprah, right? She gains weight, she loses weight. She gains weight, she loses weight. He's like, who cares? That it's all about the journey and being relatable.
Yep.
So, yeah, you do not have to be perfect, and your success story, whatever that is and looks like, does not have to be a straight line.
And it doesn't have to be what other people's success stories are either.
No.
That comparison game can vary you. So just, work with your own strengths and, what you're going through.
Yeah, the comparison game is death. It's like in the Dune series, fear is the mind killer. Well, in our game, the comparison game is the mind killer. So definitely got to stay away from that bad boy. Okay, and well, let's, unless there's something else compelling that you want to share, why don't we move on to who listened to the National Wake Up Call?
Dean has it.
Okay, so it was Sarah Lenore, and she talked about creating organization out of the chaos of being a health and wellness coach. What did everybody think of her talk, or what she brought to the table? I know what Shelly's going to say, because I'm going to say the same thing, but anyway.
Do you? Because I was working out when I was listening to it, and honestly, I remember at the time thinking, that's so true, and that's so me, and then today I'm like, it fell out of my ear. I'm in birthday mode, I'm sorry.
Oh.
So start, and it'll probably trigger something, and then I'll go, oh yeah.
Right. Well, okay. I personally, I liked a lot of what she had to say, but I didn't find her, I couldn't relate. I couldn't relate to her. She had some good tips. I liked what she said about the 80-20 work allotment.
Yes.
She devotes 80% of her time to building her business, which includes her personal development and her posting schedule, and then 20% to team building. She had a really cool tip about I'm starting to use Google Docs. I don't know about everybody else, but using Google Docs as a place to create all of your team's resources, because it can be shared. You can just share the link and anybody on your team can get to it and use it. But I saw a lot of people in the comments were saying, wanting her to be, provide more tangible, examples and details about, well, what is your posting, what is your really successful posting schedule that you came up with, and then lots of other things. And she wasn't really forthcoming about those things like some of the National Wake Up Call folks have been in the past, really sharing, what they actually, the tools that they actually use. But anyway, that was my take on it. How about you, Hannah?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I guess that's the biggest part that I got out of it was the 80-20, because it's like, oh, like just building up, my tribe and everything. I was like, oh, okay. I do use Google Docs and everything. I was like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, that totally makes sense. And I liked what she said too about FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
And just, totally just, because starting out, it can be overwhelming, because I am the type, I'm just like, okay, I want to learn. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And, my brain's just constantly wanting to grab a hold and do this training and do this. It can be a lot. It can be a lot. Totally can be. But at the same time, though, with what she was saying is to start to give yourself time and patience for things to finally come together. I was like, absolutely, because, I can stay up until like midnight, 1 a.m. doing all this and just kind of like spinning my wheels. So for me, I was just like, oh, okay, here we go now. So I actually did end up getting a lot more out of it, but at the same time, I do feel like she was holding back on some of this stuff.
She really was.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other cool thing she said was she used the metaphor for, if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're trying to get better disorganized, think about what you do as a coach from the perspective of a Beachbody workout program. Use the modifier, follow the modifier. So if you can't reach out to 20 people a day, that's too overwhelming, or whatever the case may be, then maybe only reach out to 10 or 5 or 2. Whatever you can do so it's not so overwhelming. That was a kind of a cool thing that she said. But I guess I couldn't relate to her because she related a lot of the things in terms of her business hours and setting up her office space and all that, in terms of having a family with little kids.
Yeah, the whole having the office so that when she was done, she could close the door and walk away. And I was like, that is really awesome, and I'm very happy to have that. I'm in my living room,
Right.
So believe me, that's on the vision board that I will have that one day. But right now, all of the rooms have children sleeping in them. It's not
right. Well, and I actually could do that. I have 2 spare bedrooms upstairs. So if anybody ever becomes homeless, I have room. Yeah. So
I make cakes.
And we can convert the garage if necessary. But there's a twin bed in one and a queen air mattress in the other. Okay. So that's just full disclosure. But anyway, I could actually do that. I could set up an office upstairs, but I like being down here. I made the dining room my office. So, and I like that. It works for me. But anyway.
And I have my defined office, and I can close the door and just really focus and do all that. And I have my whiteboard here, and I can just, well, you've seen it. I go to town making all my notes and drawing stuff, and really can get at it.
Yeah. So that was basically all I got out of that, as in addition to, when you get rich enough, hire a virtual assistant, a cleaning lady, a nanny.
Boy, we can dream, right?
Yes, we can dream. Okay. So another exciting news. Some of us went to Super Saturday and Super Sunday this last weekend. And Hannah and I drove to Nashville, and we stopped off in Smyrna, and guess who got to meet?
Yay! I love that picture so much.
Yep.
It was fun.
Yes, we went to the home of Coach Lisa, and Hannah got to give her a Coach Hannah hug.
She got to hug Avocado.
Yes, avocado.
avocado,
Yes.
That's so
see my
cute.
masks. That's kind of cool. I just realized because we see each other where we are. I mean, I see the things behind you all the time. It's kind of cool to see them in the flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So that was fun. And then we went off to our Super Saturday. Shelley, how was your Super Sunday?
It was awesome.
Of course it was. Chris Downing was there.
I know.
Uh,
He showed me pictures.
Hurt so bad. Like, I am in pain still, but it was so like.
You didn't wear your heels to work out, did you?
No, I didn't even know.
No black leather and buckles?
What's that?
No black leather and buckles?
Not for Super Sunday. No, no black spandex and sneakers. But yeah, actually, we had Ruth Schroner, who's one of the high-level coaches, and I was not familiar with her before Sunday.
Didn't she speak at Summit in New Orleans?
She may have.
Okay.
If she does, I have notes. But
Shelley was drunk. No, just kidding.
not during that time. I was not.
No. Just kidding.
I'm sorry?
No, just kidding. Ruth Schroner, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. But now, like, I love her. Like, I want to hang out with her. She's awesome. And she had 4 things, you know, like her 4 rules that she shared with us and to be more successful. And the first one, my OCD would never allow, but I took the spirit of it, which is they screw it to making your bed, meaning don't concentrate on those kinds of little things. Like she shared how they said successful people get up at 5 a.m. and make their bed and do that. And she said, well, I'll never be successful because I don't make my bed, you know? So it was kind of like they screw it to those things and concentrate on the way that works for you. The second thing we were talking about on the Philly page tonight, because it's throat punch your inner a-hole. So what she said was how we all have that demon voice inside of us.
Yes.
And that we should give it a name. Now hers is named Regina. So when she starts hearing that voice, she can say, suck it, Regina, and just go on with her day because now she's identified it.
From Once Upon a Time, Regina from Once Upon a Time?
Maybe, I don't know. I've never watched Once Upon a Time, but
That's
I
right.
like the name. But she also has an inner diva, which she named Riance.
Oh my gosh.
So that's her like sassy pants voice, you know. The third one she got from Jen Sincero, which is feed fear a suck it sandwich. So get over your fears and, you know, to like hit them head on. And I'm trying to think of the fourth one. I had it right here and it just fell out of my head. I think I put my bag away. It has my notebook in it. But it was a really good talk. Like, and I love the idea of naming that voice because that kind of makes it more tangible and you can tell it to just, you know,
right.
Like that. It was really good. And then Chris Downing, we did a workout with that was just evil. It was evil. I thought he was a nice guy. He said, okay, give me lunges. So he's like, you know, right side, 1, 2, 3, give me 50. Hold it. Give me 40. Hold it.
He is totally
30,
into that
20,
burnout, 10. Man. He's totally into the burnout.
We went down to 10 and then back up to 50. We did the other side.
Oh my gosh.
He said if I wasn't trying to make a point, this would be torture, but I want to show you that you are mentally strong enough to get through this. You know, and he's right, but I am hurt. But it was really all about a mental workout, you know, like pushing yourself through the tough times in your life and like, you know, it's going to suck right now, but when you get through it, the gains you get from it are worth it, you know.
Hey, listen, anybody that knows his story.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, okay, you listen to him.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it was a good day, and the peanut butter beach bars are delish.
Hey, listen.
Got the cherry one.
Listen, we didn't get any freaking beach bars.
Oh, no.
I told Hannah to write to Carl and complain
Yeah, I already did.
Good. Good, because they should be universally available.
Yes, they should have been available to all the market councils.
Yes, I agree.
Anyway.
Yeah, I decided that even though I like cherry, the peanut butter is probably going to be the more popular flavor, so I should be able to say my opinion on that, and it was really good.
Yeah, I went ahead and placed my order like first thing yesterday. I was like, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna go ahead and place my order.
What was the biggest takeaway you guys got from yours?
Well, I'll let Hannah go first because this was her first Super Saturday. So
Nice.
take it away, Hannah.
Yeah, it was my first Super Saturday. I was just really impressed. First of all, just the sense of community and just getting to see, because there were people there from like North Carolina that I spoke to, and I was just like, oh wow, okay, so this is really neat. Just everyone just, I don't know, I get like really like nerdy and everything. I'm just like, oh, I love it. So just overall, just the sense of community. And then I kind of wish that we had a bigger space to work out in, because I felt at times that I was going to like punch someone out, and I was like, oh, okay. But
That's normal.
And then Kelly, she's like, now Hannah, she said, now getting ready for Summit, she's like, imagine this on a much larger scale. And I was like,
Yep.
oh,
Yeah.
girl, okay. So like I was totally excited after that. I was like, Summit, can we, okay. And I was asking her all these questions about Summit, and I was like, oh, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait. So I guess it was kind of like a preview going into Summit, and I'm just, I'm ready for my bag. And I'm ready for that, for to be leaving for Summit tomorrow, you all.
Listen, it's going to be here before you know it.
Yeah.
It's going to be here before you know it. And then you'll get to see Tom in the flesh.
I can't wait.
3 months.
3
About
whole
3 months, right?
Yeah, something like that.
That really got me. My
Yeah,
first
3 months.
summit when I met Tom, because I had watched 100 videos
Poor thing.
day after day, and there he was, and I kept like, I would, you know how you
Helping him.
put your finger on a video and it freezes? I kept touching it. You're here. You're not
Did I
freezing.
freeze? If I remember that this summit, I'll have to freeze when you touch me. If I remember that, and I'll reference. Remember that time you told me?
That was
Yeah.
so funny, but it felt like meeting a rock star. It was so cool.
I'll be in the middle of a sneeze when you touch me, and I'll have to freeze in the midst of a sneeze or something.
Yeah. So yeah, that was good times. That was fun. Of course, I had met Tom the summit before,
You weren't a coach yet.
but I wasn't. No, I just signed up.
Or did you?
But I wasn't. I didn't have a ticket to Summit. I just.
Okay, that's what it was. I knew it was something like that. I was thinking you weren't a coach yet.
Yeah, you gave away. No, I signed up. Yeah, I signed up May 31st, 2015, and then I came to the pre-summit party.
That's right. You were my guest. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and then we went out. Shelley and Jen and you and I all went out afterwards and
That's right.
bonded.
Had a great old time.
Bonded.
You
Yeah,
stayed on my couch.
yeah, yeah. It was fun. So, the rest is history.
So Summit is a good time. That is the bottom line.
Yep, absolutely. And this one will be no exception.
So what is next on our list of things to discuss tonight?
What is next? Well, that is a really good question.
Anybody have any tax questions?
Oh, that's right. We're going to talk about taxes. Amethyst, I think that's your cue.
Yeah, I want to know how you do everything with your taxes. Like you said, you keep all your receipts. You said something about
Okay, I'll give you a brief overview of it. So every year I have a big Ziploc bag, and I'll put the year on it. So this year is 2018. 2018, all my receipts that are business related goes into that. But most importantly, I journal everything. So I have a spiral notebook, or you can do it on a Word document, whatever.
Mhm.
And the first column, you want to put the date. In the second column, you want to put, I might have to open mine up so I remember. First column is the date. Second column is the vendor. Third column is a description, what it was for, how it ties to business. The next column is going to be the price of it, the price tag. And the last column is going to be, a category. One thing that's different this year is we no longer get a meal and entertainment deduction. That's been taken out of the new tax bill, so you don't get to write off your meals anymore. But the tax brackets have been lowered, so it's kind of a trade-off. So I no longer journal my meals anymore because I can't write them off. So, everything else gets journaled. Some common things that would be journaled would be your Shakeology, because that's a requirement to qualify for certain, bonuses and incomes and this and that. Obviously your monthly business service fee is going to be a tax write-off.
Mm-hmm.
What else is going to be a tax write-off? If you're meeting with somebody to talk about this or that or share Shakeology, those miles would be a tax write-off. So you would just put the date and the amount of miles and then the purpose for those miles to sample Shakeology or talk about whatever with somebody. Some other common ones would be if you're going to Summit, your airfare, your travel expense, miles, whatever, your hotel stay, all of it, gratuity that you leave, all of that is going to be a write-off, except meals and entertainment. That's no longer a write-off. Your Beachbody Summit ticket itself is going to be a write-off.
How'd you find that out?
Find what out?
That the meals were no longer tax write-off, because I was reading the taxes.
Well, I work with somebody. I have a CPA, a private CPA. I don't go to some chain place like H&R Block. And he has a specialty with helping business owners. So, and that's some guy that's local here in town. He's really good. He has got an astute knowledge of tax law. So he just, updated me this year on different changes with the new tax bill. And the big one, as far as we're concerned, is we don't get to write off our meals and entertainment anymore. So it makes it easier to journal it because honestly, most of my journal entries were food. So I'm not spending nearly as much time. Not that I was spending a lot of time, but I'm not spending nearly as much as I was because I'm not journaling my food expenses anymore.
Right.
So let me give you an example of what it would look like. Like, let's say, let's say you're writing off your airfare if you're flying into Summit. So the first column would be, let's say you bought your airfare ticket today. The April 10th would be in the first column. The next column would be the vendor, United Airlines, for example. The next column would be the description, purchased airline ticket to go to Beachbody Summit. And the next column after that would be the dollar amount, I don't know, $300. The next column after that would be the category, and this would be travel expense.
Right.
So it's all done that way. And at the end of the year, I give it to my tax preparer, and he does his thing. He does my taxes. I don't do my own taxes. I just collect everything. I conceptually understand how it all works, and I give everything to him along with all my 1099s and my stuff you're going to get from your bank, and for me, real estate properties, all that stuff. All my journal entries, all my expenses I give to him. So my receipts are basically sitting in a Ziploc bag. I never grab those ever again. I just have them just in case I need them for whatever reason. I don't know. But that's basically it. In a nutshell, that's how it works. And from there, it's really good. It's really wise to have a tax professional help you with your taxes. And the fee that they charge, mine charges me $450. It's on the high end because I've got all these Schedule E reports with real estate and this and that. But for basic people that only have a basic small business, if your Beachbody thing and your job is the only thing you have, it's probably going to be less than $200 to have a professional do your taxes, but it's worth it. And even that's a tax write-off.
Right.
So your tax preparation fee you can deduct, and your tax professional will know to do that too.
Right. And if you're someone that likes to do things electronically on the web, and let's say you use TurboTax before you use when things are smaller, before your business gets bigger, you can integrate with QuickBooks, stuff like that, where it will actually organize your expenses for you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's if you're someone who's techie and and it's not a pencil and paper person. So there's
It's an option, but in my personal opinion, it's so easy to either just type it out on a Word document or write it down because you're just doing those columns. So, at the end of every day, or I actually go by at the end of every week, like usually Sunday or Monday will be one of the days I designate to go through all my expenses and make sure I have them all journaled down correctly. And depending on what's going on, maybe I'll do it that same day so I don't forget. But, it's something you do on a regular basis, and you do it as you go along. It doesn't really take any more than a minute or two to do it. It's pretty easy. It's just the date, the name of the vendor, the description of it that ties it to a business purpose, and then the dollar amount and the category, like if it's going to be a travel expense category or your phone bill, utility bill category, or business expense category, whatever it is. Pretty simple. In my personal opinion, getting something like TurboTax is a waste of time, a waste of money, unless you're going to do your own taxes. But if you're going to have somebody prepare them for you, I mean, that's basically what TurboTax and those things do. It does. You're still entering, you're still doing the journal entries. Otherwise, it doesn't have anything to output or prepare. So, in my opinion, yeah, TurboTax is really a waste of money unless you're going to do your own taxes. Because either way, you got to make the entries anyway, manually.
Yes and no.
Just my opinion.
Yes.
But it is factual. But whether you use TurboTax or you don't use TurboTax and you write it down or type it out, you're still manually making an entry. And then from there, either TurboTax is going to do your taxes for you, or you're going to have somebody else, like a person do, a CPA do your taxes. So yeah, in my opinion, it's just those things are a waste of money unless you're going to do your own taxes. But if you're going to use a CPA, hire someone to do it for you, then you really don't need TurboTax. You just write it all down.
Right. If you were hiring a CPA, you would not need TurboTax. Absolutely not.
Right. Yeah.
So the Shakeology is a requirement to qualify for.
Well,
You need your 90 PV a month to stay active and get paid.
Yeah. So it's absolutely a tax write-off, because some people wonder because you're consuming it personally, but it's in the compensation plan. It's black and white. You need it to qualify for certain things.
So what do you categorize it as?
A business expense or supplies.
Supplies.
They're deducted the same way. I categorize it as supplies, but it could also be a business expense.
So, like when you go to a CPA and you have all this stuff for this business, like